What's up everyone, this is Scott with TeamFive12 and I'm back with another video. I'm here with my buddy Justin, you know him, Mr. Horsepower Obsessed himself, and we are standing in front of my C7 Grand Sport and a 2020 Toyota Supra, and we're here to answer the question, which is better? We haven't even started yet and he's already picked a winner, but come on guys, we're both biased, right? We both have C7s. It's going to be a difficult, no, it's not going to be difficult at all, is it?
No.
But let's try to make this a fair fight. So we're going to rank both cars on exterior styling, interior, what's under the hood, and driving experience.
Yep.
You ready to get started?
Definitely.
So we're going to start with the exterior styling, mostly because it's like 30 degrees here in Pennsylvania, and we're freezing, and I wish I had hair. So, so looking at both of the cars, let's take a look at the front end. The first thing that you notice about the C7 is that it is just so much wider than the Supra.
Yeah. It's got a lot more grille. The Supra's grills are actually, they're kind of deceiving because a good portion of both of them are fake. You can actually see kind of a bump out on the passenger side and on the driver's side, and that's fake up in there. But it doesn't, it's obviously not going to get as much air flow in there as the C7 would, but probably for good reason, because this is a V6, a fairly small V6. This is a 3.0 liter V6. That's a huge V8. So we need a little more cooling, I get it. But yeah, like Scott said, the C7 is much wider, much more aggressively styled. The Supra, I'll be honest, I thought it was a really nice looking car until he showed up. Once he pulled in his Grand Sport, it's like, I don't, honestly, the prices, they're right around the same too. Like, I don't know why you would choose this over that. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about comparing these two cars, because for about the same price, you could have either one of these. So that's what makes this comparison fun to do.
Yeah.
And so looking at the front, yeah, I definitely have to give it to the C7, particularly with the splitter and the stage 3 sides over here. I mean, it just fills out that front end. The Supra has a nice splitter on the front as well, but it's just not as wide. I think the C7 looks better because it's much wider. Now, when we come around to the back of both of the cars, this is where it kind of gets interesting, because I've always loved the back of the C7s, and I know there's a lot of people that complain that it looks too much like a Camaro, or they got rid of the round taillights, but I think it's a really menacing, really great looking back end, especially with the stage 2 winglets here.
Agreed. The big thing for me is I've always liked the back end of the Corvette C7 as well. I don't really care that much that it doesn't have round tail lights, but the big thing on the Supra is that it doesn't actually have a spoiler. It has a duckbill, and from the right angle of the front of the car, because of how tight this scoops in, it doesn't even look like it has anything back here, and it gives it an odd look. Whereas with the C7, you can clearly see there is a big spoiler back there. And performance or not, the spoilers make the car look better. It's that simple.
Yeah, I agree. This duckbill bump on the trunk, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it flows with the stock body lines of the car. The taillights are pretty neat, how there's kind of a shelf here. You guys can probably see that. There's a ledge up top here where they protrude from the back of the car. That's neat. I like the Formula One inspired reverse light here, and the twin exit exhaust is pretty cool. So all in all, it's a great looking back end. I love the way the body lines kind of finish off back here, and of course these huge fenders on the back look really, really good. But at the end of the day, again, I think the back of the C7, I mean, GM just nailed the styling. And Justin has said this many times on his videos and also on mine, there really isn't a bad looking C7.
Yeah.
They all look really good.
The performance of all of them, the looks of them, I mean, especially when you compare these two cars price-wise is where you really start to understand what you get on a C7 for that cost versus what you'll get with the Supra. And that's pretty much the way it is with all of the cars. It's not just the Supra.
A good point. And we know that the Supra is basically a BMW with Toyota bodywork and some Toyota interior. that's not necessarily a bad thing, and I think a lot of the reviews that I've seen on this car, they call out the fact that it's a BMW right off the top, and I never thought that that was necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing for Toyota and a car like this.
I said the same thing. I'm not a huge BMW fan, but the quality is very evident when you get into the car. It is definitely BMW, and like Scott said, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, so speaking of the interior, let's get out of this cold. Let's jump inside of the Supra and compare what's going on inside with what's going on inside of the C7. So right away, the first thing I notice is the build quality is definitely that of German engineering. Yep. The fit and finish, I mean, just how solid, Justin mentioned how solid everything feels. I mean, it really does feel solid in here. There's some great gloss carbon going on here, a lot of nice black accents that look really, really good in this car. One big thing with this car that you'll notice is you've got the screen just kind of stuck onto the dash. Now, I've seen that with a lot of new cars that I guess don't want to clutter up the center stack with a screen or build in a screen. They want to have it up more in your line of view, so they kind of stick it on here. My Q7 is very similar, although it does retract into the dash. All right, so there you can see the steering wheel and the paddles. They feel like they might be plastic. The backs of them certainly do feel plastic, but it is a nice feel nonetheless. You've got this shifter here, which is interesting. It's very similar to what you would find obviously in a BMW. In fact, I think it might actually be a BMW shifter. And same thing here again with the center stack and the climate control. Let's start it up and see what we get on startup here. Now, one thing that strikes me about this screen is I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, wasted real estate maybe on here. It's not as busy as I thought it would be, and maybe that's a good thing in a performance car. You kind of want to strip everything down and just see exactly what you need while you're driving. Now you'll notice over here that this is a launch edition, and it is number 1435 of 1500, and again you see some more of that gloss carbon fiber, which looks real nice in here. No sunroof option, you just have a standard headliner here, and the seats look pretty nice. Nice leather quality here. This is plastic, although it kind of looks like aluminum, and then you have the back cargo space. So all in all, it's a very nice interior. I'm gonna shut the door real quick, see if you guys can hear the thud. Yeah, see, so there's a lot of build quality that went into this vehicle, particularly here in the interior. And I think when you see the interior of the Supra compared with the Grand Sport, it does feel a cut above. All right, so we are going to hop inside of my Grand Sport here, and if you haven't seen this interior on one of my videos before, this is a 3LT with the jet black suede interior package, and it is a very nice place to be. Again, I'm biased, but the jet black suede interior package comes with the gloss carbon up here. You've got suede on top of the dash. You also have some nice diamond stitched suede on the roof panel. On the doors, you also have it on the shifter boot, the shifter, the seat inserts, the halo here around the windows, and A-pillars and the steering wheel. And I don't think I missed anything, but the interior of the C7 is a very, very nice place to be. Now let's start it up, and you will see the startup screen here, and obviously I have the center portion of the dash on track mode. And I just feel like for a car that was built in 2014, this one being a 2017 model, but it's basically the same dash readout, it looks extremely modern. I will say where this car falls down on the interior is this screen here. This looks extremely outdated, and this is not going to age well with the car. But I didn't buy the car for this. I bought it for what's under the hood, and what's in between the seats. So overall, build quality is pretty good here for a GM car. Now, it'll be a little bit different if you have a 1LT or maybe a 2LT. So the 3LTs definitely have a bit of a nicer feel to everything inside. When it comes to interior, I'm gonna have to get Justin's opinion because I think it's a bit of a flip for me. I really do like the interior of the Grand Sport. It's a flip between the two cars in terms of the interior. I do really like the layout of the C7 interior. The build quality is pretty good, but it's just kind of a cut above here in the Supra, and it's got more of that German feel, particularly with the iDrive system, which I think is leaps above what's in the C7. But let's talk to Justin and get his opinion.
I would agree with most of what Scott said. The interior on the C7, I think overall was laid out better. The Supra might have just a hair better quality, and that's really saying something because the 3LT or 3LZ, 3ZR interior of the Corvette C7 is fantastic quality. So this being even a hair above that is really something. Now, with that said, I do not like the iDrive system. I think the one in the Corvette is much better and much easier to navigate. The iDrive is very complicated and unnecessarily confusing. You really can't go wrong either way. If your heart is set on the Supra, you can't go wrong. But at the same time, the C7 it holds a special place in my heart.
Mine too. Speaking of the heart, let's talk about the heartbeats in both of these cars. Let's pop the hood and talk about what's under the hood of the Supra and what's under the hood of the Grand Sport. All right, so to pop the hood in the Supra, you actually have to pull the latch 2 times, right?
2 times.
All right, do you want to demonstrate that to us, and then we'll lift up the hood and compare the size?
There's 1 and there's 2.
All right, so you have to pull it twice. And I almost grabbed back here because I'm so used to grabbing a Corvette hood, but no, it's up front like a standard hood.
Now, the reason we have to pull that twice is because there's no safety latch here. Once it's popped, you just lift it up. And as you'll see, that thing is massive. I mean, that's literally wider than the car.
Yeah, I mean, the top of the fender comes with the hood when you lift it up. So it is a massive piece of bodywork. We'll go ahead and lift up the hood here. I've already pulled the latch inside the car. Very light, very small hood, carbon fiber, and it will reveal, obviously, the Corvette power plant. Here we have the LT1 6.2 liter V8 inside of the Corvette Grand Sport. Now this is the same engine that you will find in a Z51 Stingray dry sump system. Like I said, 460 horsepower, 465 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if we come over to the Supra, we've got a 3-liter turbocharged V6 that redlines at 6,500 RPMs, which is a lot lower than I thought it would otherwise. Claimed 335 horsepower, although this is an underrated engine. We've seen it dynoed a bit higher than that.
Yep, about 360 at the rear wheels.
So, now that we've compared the exterior, the interior, and what's under the hood, now it's time to check out the driving experience.
Yep.
Right? All right, let's do it. Let's fire this thing up. It's like my favorite part.
I can see why.
All right, so driving experience. Well, you've got a fairly large V8 and a manual transmission. I don't think it can get much better than that.
End of video.
All right, big V8, manual transmission.
I love it. This car feels so much lighter, and I'm not even driving. Like, it just feels lighter.
Yeah, I mean, again, we say this all the time. GM just nailed the C7 Corvette.
Yeah, they did.
Really isn't a bad one out there. They're all great cars. They all handle really well. They all pull real strong. Obviously not as strong as the ZR1 does, but auto rev match, that's a fun feature. You know, now the one problem is with a car like this, particularly because, you know, it's a cold Pennsylvania winter, is definitely trying to get some traction.
And there was none there.
There was none to be had. Now the great thing is I didn't break the speed limit at all.
No. Especially not on this road where it's 105. The speed limit is 105.
That's right. I love these
Mexican
roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though this is like the most refined Corvette that they've made,
Yeah.
I will say that the Supra inside does feel a tad more refined. And I think that's the BMW German influence on the car.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that refinement is also what takes away from the driving experience. It's really weird because it's good and bad at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, this is a much more connected driving experience than what you get in a more refined vehicle. But we'll find out. We're going to head back to the dealership here and pick up the Supra and take it for a spin and give you some final thoughts on that. All right, guys, now we are sitting inside of the Supra, and we're going to take it for a little bit of a spin here and kind of compare the driving experience to that of the C7. So, yeah, there's no clutch. This thing sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you notice is that exhaust note for a stock exhaust, and we're just kind of cruising here, and it's got a little bit of a, I don't know, throaty tone to it.
Yeah. It sounds incredible for a V6. I've never heard a V6 sound like this.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Yeah, it definitely feels planted to the road, very comfortable to drive. I can see how this would make a really nice daily driver.
Yeah, it would. Because it's stiff. You can tell it's a stiff riding car, but at the same time, it's compliant enough that you could absolutely drive this daily.
Yeah.
There you go. It doesn't like to lose traction.
Yeah, it does not like to lose traction at all.
Which is really weird considering it's only 40 degrees out right now.
Yeah, these are the same tires that are on my Grand Sport, and I feel like they're getting a lot more traction than on my Grand Sport. Well, that's pretty fast, I gotta be honest with you. We got to 25 miles an hour just like that.
God damn. That was good.
Ooh.
I like it.
Yeah.
25 miles an hour. When you have a manual transmission paired to a big V8 motor, there's a little more fighting involved in getting the car to go. This is just, anybody could do this. So easy a caveman could do it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think for me, that would almost be a deal killer for a car like this.
It's almost boring. Almost.
Yeah. I think if it had twice as much horsepower, it might be a little bit more drama induced, but right now with the stock output, it's there's some wheel slippage there.
It's not much though.
No, not much, and then it just hooks and goes.
Yeah.
Goes pretty good. I mean, it pulls you back in the seat.
Yeah.
But again, there's not a lot of drama like a Corvette, like you said, a big V8 made it to a manual transmission where you're banging through the gears, hanging onto the steering wheel for dear life, as you know, this aural symphony happens behind you. This is just kind of like hit the gas pedal, go.
I'm experiencing something similar enough to the Corvette that I expect it to react similar, and it's not.
Yeah, and so when I think about, okay, who is this car for?
Yeah.
Right, so we talked about the exterior, we talked about the interior, we talked about the engine. Now we're talking about the driving experience, and obviously we're incredibly biased as Corvette owners ourselves. But I think if you are the kind of person who likes that big V8 rumble and you like the drama of a manual transmission, I don't know that this car is for you. I don't know if you're going to be happy with this car. But if you want something that resembles German engineering, that's a little bit sportier than maybe a 4 Series BMW, and you want a daily driver, this would be a great car. It's very well put together, but it just lacks the drama. And for me, is the reason why I would choose the C7 over this pretty much any day of the week.
Yep, I would agree. Plus, the C7 just looks so freaking sinister.
Yeah, I mean, there's not as much drama in the exterior appearance of this car. The interior, it's a nice interior, but I don't get the drama from it. Right? I mean, it's laid out really well. You know, the Corvette just feels like it's more of an experience.
Just like Scott's saying, there's a lack of drama, a lack of connection, and it's a great car. Don't get me wrong, but for the money, I don't see why you would choose this over the Grand Sport.
Yeah, it's a very insulated driving experience. There is your biased comparison between a C7 Corvette and the Toyota Supra. Both great cars, both around the same price. If it's drama you're looking for, a manual C7. If daily driver that is very well put together and has that German kind of feel to it, then the Supra might be for you.
Yep, totally agree.
All right, guys, that'll do it for another video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and leave me some comments. You know I love interacting with people who love cars and Corvettes just as much as I do. Till next time.
Catch you later, guys.
Till next time.
You can't put me on the spot. Say it again.
Till next time. See ya. That's what I usually say. See ya.
Okay. Do it again.
Till next time.
See ya.